Business Unleashed. Today we're talking about one of the most misunderstood parts of growth: self trust. Most people think self trust is about confidence, but it's not. Self trust is built when your actions finally match your intentions. It's built when you stop performing for the world and start living your why. That is something that I had a huge problem with any endeavor, especially starting from when I was a kid. Several stories that I can tell you about that. And I always had in the back of my mind, I wonder what people are thinking. I wonder if people think, what are they thinking about me, thinking about my efforts? And that always kind of stopped me from doing anything that I set out to do at the highest level, because I didn't want to do something that made people think less of me or bad of me, or make them feel like I couldn't perform at a high level. I didn't want to mess up. So it really held me back in accomplishing my goals from a very, very young age up until adulthood, until here recently. And we'll go into more of that as we start diving into self trust. All right, if you're ready, let's get started. So for me, everything changed when I stopped thinking about what people thought about what I was trying to accomplish. And I started focusing on why I wanted to accomplish it. When it shifted my attention inward to my purpose, my mission, my why, something powerful happened. The noise got quieter, the fear got smaller, and self doubt lost its grip. Because most of the fear we feel isn't even ours. It's the fear of what we think other people might think about it. And I can honestly say that is has been my issue since I was started playing sports when I was 10, 11, 12, 13 years old. My greatest fear was not failure. My greatest fear has always been success. Because once I'm successful, that leads to expectation. People then have expectation of what you should do on a daily basis. And my thought process was, what if I don't live up to that expectation? So it was easier for me to be middle of the road than to be truly successful and perform at a high level, because the expectation was always middle of the road. If I exceeded that one day, it was great. But if I kept it steady, then the expectation was I'm always going to be here. So there was no threat of anybody saying, well, he's truly underperforming. He usually performs at a really high level. I wonder what's wrong. Because I could keep it here pretty steady all the time. There wasn't an issue of me performing middle of the road. That was a walk in the park. It never really challenged me to be better because I could always be middle of the road. And so that thought process really held me back, because I didn't push myself to be better. I didn't really challenge myself to be better. And because that was something that became so normal to me at a younger age, it carried into adulthood until here recently. I never really put forth the greatest effort into anything that I was trying to accomplish. Yes, there was fear of what will people think, or people are doubting me. Yes, there always that. But for me, it was always, if this goes really well, can I sustain that level so that people don't think at some point that, oh, he's falling off, he can't sustain it. It was a fluke. It's not something that can happen continuously. So that was always my fear. And it really held me back. And that's why self-trust, understanding that what people think does not concern me as much as accomplishing what I'm trying to accomplish concerns me. That is far more important to me today than what others will think about if I don't reach a certain level, or if I give it my all and what they see as success is not my success. Understanding that my success lies in my vision, and ultimately anything that I do, anything that I pursue, I'm successful at as long as I keep working towards it. And that mindset has really transformed how I have approached 2026. I learned that self-trust is the foundation of everything you want to build. Your goals, your habits, your identity, none of it sticks without self-trust. Because if you don't trust yourself to follow through, you'll always hesitate. You'll always second guess, and you'll always look outward for permission instead of looking inward for direction. But when you trust yourself, you move differently. You decide faster, you execute with confidence, and you stop negotiating with your potential. And we are just beginning 2026. It's moving rapidly. We're into day 46 of 2026. And it's like, well, when you hear this, it'll be much further along. This is a pre-recorded episode, so it'll be much further along. But as I'm recording this, we're on day 46 of 2026. And although it's early in the year, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. I am much further towards reaching my goals than I've ever been in my life. And it started with self-trust. I am moving differently. I'm moving with intention. I do things consistently. I'm dedicated to it. I'm determined. All those things are because of self-trust. I don't doubt myself. I don't second guess myself. I make a decision and I move on it. Now, that decision may not be the right decision for that moment, but by making a decision and not wavering and second guessing and thinking about it and just mulling over it, I'm making a decision. And once that decision is made, whether it's the right decision for the moment or not, it can then push me towards the decision that I need to make for the next step and the next step. And although the direction of the path may be up, down, side to side sometimes, it still put me in a position to move forward and be successful. One of the greatest things that has happened to me this year is I don't negotiate with myself anymore. Once I decide to do something, I do it 100%. And I don't think about what other people are going to say, what they think. This is my life. These are my decisions. And yes, my decisions impact people. My wife, my kids are impacted by my decisions. But that goes into the process as I start thinking about it and I make the decision with them in mind. So self-trust allows me to make those decisions with everything that's going to be impacted and everyone that's going to be impacted by it, but I make it faster. I'm confident with the decision. I move on it differently, and I don't negotiate. I just do it. And so self-trust has really put me in a position to be extremely successful in 2026. And I feel that and I believe that. And that's something that I haven't felt before. And this version of me is probably the most confident and determined version of myself. And I'm very, very excited of what 2026 holds for me. But self trust isn't something you magically wake up with. I didn't just wake up and this version of me existed. It's built rep by rep, promise by promise, and action by action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you reinforce your identity. Every time you break one, you weaken it. And that is kind of where my self trust was built on. It was built in December. I committed to 30 days of action, and that was a promise to myself. I'm going to complete the 30 days of action. They're small actions. There's no reason I shouldn't be able to do that. I committed to it and I did it. And based on that, I started to build self trust in the fact that if I commit to it 100%, that I can do it. And there will be a reward at the end as long as I commit to it. As a personal trainer, I see that every single day with clients. If they commit to showing up, if they commit to putting their all into the program, then they get a reward for it. But as soon as they break that promise to themselves about showing up, putting in the work, they start to see where it's not going to benefit them. They're not getting the reward for it. They're wondering, why am I not losing weight? Why am I so tired? Why can't I keep this up? Because they are breaking the small promises they make to themselves to show up and be consistent. Same way with me, with my workouts. My workouts reinforce everything that I'm trying to do. I've been 100% this year on workouts. I've worked out when I didn't feel well. I worked out when I really didn't want to do it. That's rare, but it happens. And I worked out through some discomfort and injury because I know that if I break that promise to myself to be in the best health that I can be, that's going to affect the promises I make about reaching my goals. So building that self-trust, it doesn't happen overnight. With anything, it takes consistency, but keeping the promises to yourself are truly, truly important because self-trust grows when your behavior aligns with your why. And it dies when you live for other people's opinions. So living for what I want to accomplish and really committing to that has really kept me focused. I can tell you from experience, even with the podcast. So like I said, I've tried a podcast before. People weren't watching it. People weren't listening to it. So in my mind, it's like, people don't want to hear this. Why are you even doing it? Why are you wasting your time? Today, I'm doing it more for me because I know that what I'm doing is going to help someone at some point. If I do not record an episode because my last episode got 0 views, someone may miss out on a message that really touches them or they really connect with. And it may be that next episode that I decided, well, nobody's really listening. So why am I doing it? So I've really connected with, yes, I'm doing this to help people, but ultimately this is helping me. Focus Unleashed is a system that I am building. And by holding myself accountable, talking about it, that reinforces everything that I'm building for me. But it also gives me an opportunity to help somebody at some point. This may connect with somebody at some point. May not be today, may not be tomorrow. It may be a year from now. But if I don't record it, if I don't put it out there, then I miss the opportunity to help that person, even if it's one. So really thinking about why I'm doing this and why it's important to me overshadows what other people will think. 0 views, okay, it happens. On to the next one. That one may connect better. But if I don't keep doing it, if I don't focus on why it's important to me, focus on keeping that promise, focus on the self-trust that this is going to work, then it's going to create an issue of that my old me, the old version of me, latched on to and just not create the content. And that's not something I'm trying to avoid this year. And that's why self-trust has been a huge part of the identity that I'm trying to create. Because when you think about trying to accomplish your goals, especially as we get into the year, because we're in it now, right? We're in it. We're trying to accomplish our goals. And then something kind of happens. We got a good start. We got a good running start. Things are kind of going well. Then that self-doubt creeps in. Because maybe you want the promotion, but you don't feel like you're going to get the promotion. You want to go back to school and you're planning for it, but you don't see where you have the time. You want to get back in the gym, but you just can't seem to create a schedule that works for you, your family, and your job. So that doubt and that fear of, is this going to work? Is this the year? I don't know. It's been going so good. I just don't want it to collapse on me. That gets loud when your why is quiet. When you don't focus on why this is important to you, all that doubt, all that fear gets very, very loud in your head to where you can't even start to remember why this is important to you. But when you focus on why it's important to you, all that noise starts to fade. You don't think about what people would think. You don't think about how hard it's going to be or if it's going to continue to go the way it's going. You start to ask, what does this mean for the person I'm becoming? Why is this important to go through this even when it gets hard? It feels like things are going to fall apart. Why should I keep going? Your why is going to answer those questions. It's going to remind you that it's important. It's going to remind you that to become the person you truly want to be, you have to go through it. It's not going to be easy. No one ever said it was going to be easy, but it will be worth it. And that's kind of where I am currently. I know what I'm trying to achieve in all facets of my life. And it's to the point where it's getting hard. Things are starting to get a little bit harder, as they should, because nothing is easy. And I've always heard the closer you get to reaching your goals, the harder it will be. And I'm feeling that right now. Even this early in the year, I'm starting to feel that a little bit. So I get it. But my why and the belief that I have in myself and the trust that I have in myself that if I just keep going, go through it, I know it's exhausting. I know I'm tired. I know I get frustrated. But keep going. That trust that I have in myself puts me in front of this microphone every time I need to record an episode. It puts me in the studio working out, even on the days that I truly don't want to do it. It puts me in front of my computer working on another goal that I'm trying to achieve. Even when I'm tired and I'm like, I can do this tomorrow, I force myself to do it every single day. This is where the shift begins. This is where self-trust begins. Because your why is louder than the noises of the past and the present thoughts of people and what they will think and your own self-doubt. And that old version of you would have latched on to that, but the new version of you latches on to the why that quiets that noise. And that's where I'm currently at. And I feel really, really good about it. And I like the direction that I'm going. There is self-doubt, but it's very, very subtle. And I can quiet it really quickly based on everything that I've built thus far. And self-trust is a huge part of that. I have committed to trusting my decisions, my thought process, all of 2026. And the reason I've done that is because I've learned that by making a decision, I can then learn from it. Even if it's not the right decision for the moment, I learn from that decision to make a better one the next decision I have to make. And that, keeping that promise to myself, like I said, I make decisions faster, I move differently, and I'm very confident in everything that I do. So building self-trust, like we said, is not easy. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, right? It didn't for me. It took me 30 days to even start to consider trusting myself. And once I did that, moved into 2026, and it's been every single day keeping that promise to myself and working hard and doing the things that I committed to doing. The trust builds and builds and builds and builds. So one way you can kind of start today on your own 30-day mission is to keep one small promise to yourself. Remove one source of external noise. Reconnect with your why every morning. Take one action that aligns with your future identity. Stop explaining your goals to people who don't share them. Self-trust grows through alignment, not approval, right? So keep one small promise to yourself. If it's to go to the gym, go to the gym. I didn't say you had to stay for an hour. Just go to the gym. I don't care if you go to the gym for 10 minutes. Go to the gym. Every time you have committed to go to the gym, do it. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Because the more you go, the more you keep that promise. 10 minutes will turn into 15, 15 will turn into 20, 20 will turn into 30, and you will find yourself doing it on a consistent basis. Remove one source of external noise. That is kind of difficult, but what I have really concentrated on is my own self-doubt. Self-doubt is something that we can kind of control, because if we start to doubt ourselves, we can then give ourselves 3 reasons why it's more important than the self-doubt. And that's something that I do on a daily basis. If I start to feel self-doubt on, well, gosh, I'm not really getting many views on this podcast. Well, why I keep going? I give myself 3 reasons why it's important to me. And that eliminates that self-doubt on a daily basis. It could be the same 3 reasons every single time, because that repetition of telling yourself why it's important is going to keep you moving in the right direction. So it's really, self-doubt is the one external, it's internal, but it's external as well, because your self doubt is amplified by what you feel other people will say about it and what they think. So, although it's internal, it's externally amplified. So, if you can shut down the self doubt, then external noise doesn't amplify it. So, you kill two birds with one stone. Just want to clarify that because I said remove one source of external noise. Reconnect with your why every morning. Every morning, I think about what I'm doing that day and why it's important to me. That has really helped me stay focused, especially on days when it's like, man, I don't want to do this today. I would love to just lay in bed. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to train. I don't want to do this or that. Reconnecting with why I'm doing it and why it's important to the mission re-energizes me and refocuses me to where even if I don't want to do it, I get up and do it 100%. And that is very, very important to keeping you focused, because there are going to be times when you're going to be overwhelmed, you're going to be tired, you're going to be exhausted, you're just going to be frustrated to the point where you don't want to do anything. And your why should calm you, refocus you, and put you in a position to keep going. Take one action that aligns with your future identity. So, what do you want to accomplish? Whatever you want to accomplish, that's going to change who you currently are. So, you need to do one action that future version of yourself would do. If it's get up early, if it's stay up late, if it's stay committed to being on task every single day, being consistent with daily chores, daily objectives, whatever it may be, take one action that aligns with your future identity every single day. If it's discipline, if it's consistency, if it's just self-trust, trusting yourself, keeping a promise, do it every single day. And I think one of the most important aspects of self-trust is stop explaining your goals to people who don't share them. We talk about what we want to accomplish with people who don't understand why we want to accomplish it. They don't have that same drive and dedication that you need and want and trying to establish to accomplish the goals that you want to accomplish. So by talking to them about it constantly, you're always going to get some kind of feedback. And it's not conscious sometimes. Sometimes it's a very unconscious feedback they don't even know that they're giving you. For instance, man, I need to start going to the gym. I really want to go 3 to 4 days a week. I want to get in the best shape of my life. I gotta get there. And then you have the feedback of, I don't know why you're doing that. That sounds like too much work. I can't do it, man. I ain't gonna do that. That's too much work. I got too much going on. You gonna try to do that with everything you got going on? That's not for me. It's unconscious. They're talking about themselves, but they're unconsciously creating doubt for you. Now you're thinking, man, I do got a lot going on. I don't know if I can do this. That's a lot to ask. With everything that I have going on, 4 days a week, I don't know. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe, yeah, I'll think about that later. I really can't focus on that right now. So talk to people that understand what you're trying to achieve, why it's important to you, because those are the people that are going to help you find the self-trust that you need to start making it happen. They'll hold you accountable for the promises that you make. And not so much in a way that it's going to make you feel bad if you break one of those promises. They're the type of people that will remind you of the promise that you made to yourself so that you can start to build the self-trust by keeping the promise on a daily basis. And that's the kind of people that you need to be talking to and sharing what you're trying to achieve. That's very, very important. I think we do that more often than we think because we share it with loved ones, friends, and like I said, it's an unconscious thing. They don't understand what they're doing, and you may not even understand what's going on, but that negative feedback creates doubt, which really undermines the self-trust that you're trying to build. I know for me, I don't share my goals with a lot of people because I know that I don't have a lot of people in my life currently that have the same drive and determination that I have. Right now, it's a very, very difficult time in our country, in the world, and surviving is first and foremost in a lot of people's minds. And for me, surviving is there, but I also want to thrive at the same time. So a lot of people don't have time to listen to what I want to accomplish because they're just trying to survive every single day. So I don't share that a lot with a lot of people, but the people I do share it with, they give me the positive feedback that I need to keep going. They may not truly understand and they may not share exactly what I'm trying to achieve, but they understand that it's important to me. And so they help me stay on track. And I love everybody that supports me and understands what I'm trying to do. And I appreciate everything that they do for me. And it has really helped me in 2026 be more protective of what I'm trying to achieve so that it doesn't get that negative feedback that I know will diminish the self-trust that I'm building and put me back into the mindset of the old version of myself of this isn't working out like I thought it would. Why keep going? So very, very important to have people that you trust and share that with people who are going to help you build your own self-trust so that you can create the success you want in 2026. So as we finish up, let's really think about what self-trust is. Self-trust is the bridge between who you are and who you're becoming. And the moment you stop living for other people's opinions and start living for your why, you become unstoppable. Build the trust, reinforce the identity, and keep moving towards the future you are creating. As we sign off, I just want to say thank you for everyone who has been watching the podcast, listening to the podcast. Your support has truly helped me keep going in the direction that I want to go. I really feel good about the direction of this podcast, of about everything that I'm trying to accomplish in 2026. And it has really helped me be the best version of me that I've ever been in my life at the age of 47. I can honestly say this is the best version of me thus far in my life. And it would not be possible without the support of family and friends and supporters like you just popping in to listen and watch the podcast. So it's much, much appreciated. And I hope that I can grow this podcast, grow a community, and not only reach my goals in 2026, but help others reach their goals in in 2026 and expand that on years and years to come. So as we sign off, focus on that self-trust, reinforce the identity, keep the promises you make to yourself, keep moving toward the future you're creating, and as always, stay focused and be ready to unleash it.